Aloha, welcome to ThinkTech Hawaii's Business in Hawaii program. My name is Kathleen Lee with Kathleen Lee Consulting, and I hope everyone is doing well and staying healthy during these times. Today on the show, we have one of my good friends. She has been in real estate since 2003, and that is what we will be talking about today. Please welcome to the show, Hazel Unciano. Hey, Hazel. So tell us about yourself. Tell the viewers out there a bit about your background before we launch into, like our talk story interview format here.
Hi everyone. My name is Hazel, and I am a realtor broker at Locations Hawaii. I was born and raised on Oahu, and I went to college on the East Coast, came back, and had my family. So I'm also blessed to be a mother.
Okay, tell us about how you got into the real estate business.
It was actually my father. He is a retired broker as well. And when I came home from college, he asked me to help him with his work. And he noticed I could never stay still in an office. Like I'm very outgoing. So he's like, you need to go get your real estate license. So I'm glad I actually listened to my dad and got my license. And I've been practicing since 2004. And I went to a few companies, but I have been with Locations since about 2011.
That is a very long time, and I'm glad that you are here on the show today because that is what we were talking about. So similar to what you and I had talked about yesterday, we want to go over the real estate market in Hawaii during the time of this pandemic. What trends have you been seeing lately in the last few months, since the lockdowns have happened? And have there been any major changes that are significant that you want to go over?
With my experience lately, fortunately, we were considered essential, and real estate kept on going even during COVID. Let me backtrack. So prior to COVID, our market was actually stabilizing. We were coming out of a seller's market, and we were stabilizing as far as that there was enough supply to meet the demand. And but after COVID, of course, inventory was limited. Nobody was selling. However, there were still a wave of buyers who were qualified because of such low interest rates to purchase. And since then, it's just, I think right now, quite honestly, it's trying to figure itself out. However, with my experience, I've been helping a lot of buyers more, and surprising. And I think I haven't had this much buyer clientele in a few years, and they range from first-time home buyers to the investors.
Okay. So how have both the sellers and a buyer, since you mentioned that you deal with both, right? You deal with both the buyers and the sellers for properties. So how have you seen them cope with the restrictions that have come along with the current pandemic?
Well, both let me talk about my sellers first, right? Of course, they know what's going on in the world. We just take extra precautions as to the measures of showing. So, my last listing sold, it was still owner occupied, but we have questionnaires like every other business. Have you traveled? Have you been sick? Have you been in contact? However, we've been incorporating more virtual tours. And then, of course, the governor did mandate, okay, you need to show proof that you are able. But regardless, we're not going to show buyers that even if I represented them, if I don't know that you're qualified to purchase this. But there are some sellers who require that and they want to see proof, which is fine. So it's just a lot more stricter guidelines. And of course, they come in with masks. We have hand sanitizers. Like I'm actually there at showings now, even if it's vacant. Like it's just to protect my seller's interest. And then as far as buyers, they're of course aware. And then like, hey, bring a mask, 6 feet distance. It's like, let me be the one to put on the glove and touch everything for you. Kind of thing. So I think a lot of people, they are aware and they are adjusting. I mean, the main goal is just to get into a house. So they will adjust to it as far as the whole world has.
So for people, both buyers and sellers who, aren't comfortable yet going out and like showing their homes or like looking at them, like what has the industry done, or even like what have you done with your business to accommodate that?
So I think for usually it is face-to-face contact, especially in Hawaii, and I'm my service is very personal, and so now it's like, hey, do you like for first-time home buyers, for instance, I like to do a consultation. So now a lot of more of my clients they're okay with doing it virtually, like how we are right now. You're in Honolulu, I think I'm in Mililani, and we talk like that. And then they just shop a lot more like Amazon and looking at like our locationshawaii.com website and our app, and be like, hey, can you get more information on this? And then when they actually truly talk about it, and after talking with the loan officer, then we actually go. So it's more, I think, planning, and then finally we're serious. Okay, let's go out and go shopping. Rather than we're always shopping, going out and stuff. So yes, we're a little bit more. I think consumers a lot more smarter and savvy.
Okay, so let's break it down, because I know we did talk about the buyers and the sellers. Let's focus on the sellers first. So what has been going on in regards to people selling their homes in Hawaii during this challenging time?
So from what I see in my marketplace, like I do a lot on like west and central areas. These sellers, they need to sell for whatever reason. They most of the time their need is because they are relocating, or they actually want to upgrade to a bigger home. They've been in confinement. They're like, hey, so we just need to get more space, which is fine. I'm there to help anyone. But I think they're with that need and already being a homeowner, they are already comfortable with the process, and especially because I try to build that continued relationship with my clients. Like I'm not just like, hey, let's talk and let's sell and buy. It's not like that. I want to cultivate that relationship, because my business does run through trust and referrals. So now it just seems like, for the West, I can talk about the West, where it seems like there's so much demand now that once you put something in on the market and it's priced well, it's gone. Like I have my buyers and we're looking at something, it's like, dude, there's like 2 offers already and it's only been on the market for 2 days. So it's a little getting used to. So like I said, we are in that roundabout way. It's like, okay, what's happening now? So we're treading carefully but aggressively.
Uh-huh. So why do you think that is? Because like some people have, or some people may think that the market may be slowing down, right? Because of, places closing down. But you mentioned that, when something is out on the market, it's actually kind of, it actually goes pretty fast. So can you kind of explain that a little bit more? I know you mentioned that it's kind of hard to identify a trend right now, right? But it's almost, it's not what people have expected, right? So it's not slowing down.
Well,
and what do you think are the factors that are contributing to that? Like, is it a particular season or?
Well, I mean, so for right now, summer is usually our busiest season for any real estate, any realtor. We are pretty busy. The reason being is because a lot of families want to move during the summer because kids are out of school and they need to get into a house sooner because they have to register for school, you know, and that's in a normal market. You know, this is a COVID market, right? So I think now because I think with the sellers, they see opportunities. You know, once you own a home, you have leverage. You have something that, hey, you know, this is my security now, and like what can I do? You know, they think differently. You know, once you have something of value, okay, what can I do with this in order to make, you know, a lifestyle change, a better lifestyle change? So I think a lot more, and rates are so low right now. They're under 4%. I think there's some that's like under 3%. So for instance, I have clients that are refinancing, and because they're refinancing to a lower rate, and therefore, you know, they have extra income. You know, they have extra cash flows. Like, hey, Hazel, we've done this, we have this, but you know, it seems like we can qualify for even more. So I'm like, okay, great, let's go out.
We do have a question from a viewer. And do you recommend putting your house on the market now, or should they wait after COVID?
I think it depends on your goal and what your timeline is. You know, I try for my sellers, I try to work backwards. You know, okay, so what's your reason of selling? And okay, so when do you expect to be into your next home? And then, you know, I can tell you this right now, because, you know, the governor has been opening up travel season, and a lot of military, they actually have dates. Like a lot of my military clientele, they're starting to come like in waves, like starting this week and next week and the following week. They need homes. And, you know, and a lot of the military here are PCSing out. So I think if you, depending on where your community and neighborhood is, you know, let's look at that factors and see what's going on. And right now, from what because I have clients from Kapolei to Kaneohe to North Shore, you know, we're looking at like there's limited inventory. There's like less than a handful from all over. So I think it just caters to where you're at, what your goals are, what your timeline is.
Yeah, that sounds like pretty sound judgment advice. Let's go over to the buyers now. You talked about the sellers, and you briefly mentioned the buyers, but let's go into that and how this particular season may be advantageous to
them. You know, buyers are out there now. You know, to tell you the truth, I think prior to COVID, January, February, a lot of my investors were coming out because they were actually pulling out of the stock market in order to invest over here. And a few of them, actually majority of them, sight unseen, you know, whether it be their second home, vacation home, or they just want to relocate here. Now, currently, I have a lot of first-time home buyers. And interestingly enough, they are, you know, some of them were planning, we met maybe the ending of last year, and we got on a plan to purchase in this year. And they, you know, needed to do things with their finances, and they finally, you know, got into it. And people are locking in at like, you know, 3.25. And because of the interest rates being low, they actually could qualify for even a bigger price point. So they're happy about that. You know, like for instance, my client that's closing on Friday, they thought they could only do a townhouse, but because rates went lower, I think even like maybe a point lower, we got a single family home in Eva. But majority of my clientele, the first time homebuyers, are actually withdrawing from their annuities. And because of the CARES Act, that they are now, you know, people are actually allowed to withdraw from their retirement without penalty.
Okay, hold that thought. Let's so we have a break coming up, but I want you to go more into the CARES Act when we return.
Okay.
Aloha, I'm Christine Linders, a physical therapy specialist and the host of Movement Matters. My show is designed to teach you the simplest and most effective treatment strategies to get you out of pain and back to doing what you love. If you or someone you know is having pain in a certain area of the body and would like a free assessment in treatment over media or in person, and then come on the show to talk about it, email us at thinktechmovementmatters@gmail.com. Or if you have a topic you would like to know more about, please email us. My goal is to decrease pain all over the world, inspiring people to take better care of their bodies to enjoy life to the fullest. I look forward to hearing from you.
And we are back on ThinkTech Hawaii's Business in Hawaii program. We have Hazel Unciano, realtor from Locations, talking about the real estate market in the time of COVID-19. So when we left off, she had mentioned the CARES Act. So Hazel, what is the CARES Act and how is it relevant to buyers and sellers?
So, I mean, before we went on break, I was mentioning, influx of a lot of my first-time home buyers were actually taking advantage of the CARES Act, which, in part of that, allows, the consumers to actually withdraw from their retirement accounts without penalty. Prior to COVID, you couldn't do that. You'd be heavily taxed, heavily penalized, or whatnot. But I am going to put this disclaimer out there, but, I tell my clients, talk to your HR first, talk to your, benefits rep and see, what you have to do. Majority of the time, they just have to, show a fully executed purchase contract. Like I said, we, currently, like I closed one last week, single dad electrician, and he's all like, a lot of his coworkers said, do it now. You're 10 years in, before you withdraw before your retirement, and a lot of that is gone. So take advantage of it now. I have a nurse doing it and another contractor doing it. So there are opportunities out there. Talk to your rep and then come and talk to me. and then as far as sellers, I think we shared yesterday, Kat, about the concerns of being a homeowner or becoming one, because there are a lot of risks. It's like, and understandably, with having a mortgage. So I'll tell you the big difference, especially right now, with renting and with a home ownership. Under the CARES Act, it allowed banks that to give homeowners, your landlords, a break as far as at worst case scenario, doing a forbearance or deferring payments till a later time. Okay, and of course, again, a disclaimer, it depends on each of your mortgagee. So I would talk to the banks about that. I actually have a client who just called me recently, and it's like, Hazel, I lost my job, but the bank actually offered me a streamline and a streamline loan where it decreases my his interest rate to like 2.85. He was at 3.75, and now I'm saving him $500. Can the tenant say that? I don't think so. Or do you think if you're blessed enough, then you may have a landlord that actually was like, you know what, you don't have to pay, or you can pay it later on. But that's a needle in the haystack. So that's a great benefit to owning real estate.
Yeah, I mean, and it's good that you point that out, because I think there are a good number of people that don't know that. I mean, what other advantages are there? You had mentioned an example yesterday about like being covered when you're a homeowner as opposed to like when you're renting. I don't know if you remember that.
I think it goes for what we just shared about, as far as having your banks offering deferred payments or forbearance rather than it going into foreclosure. Also, a lot of people are taking HELOCs out, home equity line of credits, and they may not be using it, but it's a nice fund to have on the side. So like it depends on all banks, whether if it's 80% loan to value or even higher. I'll tell you, for me personally, I bought my house, first time buying my house on my own, a few years ago at like 400. The equity that I have now is, close to 6. So I have about 200,000 in equity on there. Like I'm sitting on it. So, and that's mine. As a tenant, how could you have raised all of that, right? So I think it's an investment. It's a safe investment. Yes, there are times when market go up and down, but you don't necessarily have to sell it. Keep it, rent it, And I tell my clients that every single family, every single person has a different story. So, yeah.
Okay, well, on that note, with everything going on and everything that you have shared based on your expertise, we're going to try to get some more out of you as far as helping the folks out there. What are some helpful tips that you may have for both buyers and sellers in regards to purchasing or selling homes at this time?
Okay, great. Well, let's go for sellers. It's an advantage right now for sellers. Inventory is low. I know you see a lot of graphs and things like that, and I'm sorry we don't have all of that to present today. But I can always share that with anyone. They say that inventories low, but you see prices, they're holding steady or they're going higher. So I think if you are thinking about selling, upgrading, downsizing, investing, let's talk about what your goals are. Let's talk about timelines. And then if you still live in the home, okay, are you okay with people coming to your house? We just started being able to do open houses again. How do you want that to be handled? For me, I'm doing a lot more virtual tours. I'm investing a lot with that. I do include that in my services to my sellers. Like, let me take care of this. All you have to do is prepare the property. If you need help, I have people that can help, cleaners or whatnot. Also, now for my buyers, I like to sit down, have a consult, talk story, tell me what your goals are. Tell me, is this your first time, your experience, what your expectations are of me? So, and how do you want to meet? Do you want to meet virtually? Do you do you want to talk over the phone? Do you want to meet over here? I mean, of course, our company, locations, we have our protocols with wearing masks and things like that. Just be comfortable and I just like to make it a fun experience. I love what I do, but I also like to have a lot of fun.
Love that. Is there anything else you would like to add that I didn't go over or I didn't ask about that you feel people should know about what's going on in the real estate market currently?
Well, I get a lot where people have concerns with the risk involved. There are risks with anything in life that I think is a huge deal. There's a risk, but I believe that you should really be linking with a trusted realtor who, is committed full time to it, and talk story and make sure that you vibe well. For my first time home buyers, it's, when I bought a home, I did help a lot of people prior to that, with personal stuff. I finally was able to do that. And I was telling my colleagues, like, oh my gosh, is this what my buyers have to go through, And, I'm more like, let me listen to what your needs are, to what your expectations are. And, let me guide you through that. With my services, I have an assistant. I do this full time. I have an app that can help you look. I have lenders, that can assist you. So I just full service. And as far as sellers, let's just, sit down and talk story. I think with everything else, it's just talking story. And all right, let's see and take this to the next level.
Awesome. So your final message to our viewers out there is, I guess it's hire Hazel. Is that right?
Yeah, hire Hazel. Hire a realtor. Get educated. Ask a lot of questions. We want those questions. We as for me, I can speak for myself. It's like I want to be able to earn your business, earn your trust, that you can help me with referrals. A lot of people don't know, with as far as being a buyer, you don't pay for realtor services. The seller pays. But, as a seller, know what you're getting into, know what your fees include. We may, be at the higher end, but it's like, okay, what does this include? This includes a virtual tour, professional photos, an actual live person that you can call and be directed to. So, just that availability. But yes, I think just as with anything else, you get what you pay for, you have discounts, but you have someone that can offer you everything. And I think you just have to, listen and interview.
Well, Hazel, thank you so much for joining us on ThinkTech Hawaii's Business in Hawaii segment today. I hope the viewers out there have gotten value out of this conversation today. And if you missed this on our live stream, it is going to be up on the ThinkTech Hawaii YouTube page. So thanks again, Hazel. And again, hope everyone is staying healthy and well out there. So have a great Thursday.